Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien sitting in for Paul Harvey today on Thursday, July 19th, 2023. Stand by for the rest of the story. Well, today's story is about Bob and his son Bob Jr. Two people who should be prominently in American history but have been relegated to obscurity and a footnote. Bob. Well, Bob was a devout British subject from Philadelphia, province of Pennsylvania. And it was the year 1750. And he had a prominent post that he did. In the old days, the British would probably call it the Exchequer. Okay, and the Exchequer over the centuries had a lot of little responsibilities. In his case, for Philadelphia, he was responsible for any freight that came in from Britain or other places, and he would go over there and check them out and then get back to port. Well, he consider him like Sir Joseph KCB from the Gilbert and Sullivan HMS Pinafore type guys, okay? Well, Bob, he woke up in all the week in 1750, I believe it was June. He had this premonition that he was going to get shot on this particular day. And he had to go out to check out this new ship with the provisions that were coming in for Philadelphia. So he had to be coached to go over there because he really didn't want to. He says, I'm going to get shot. And two guys that were close to him said, well, Bob, I'll go with you. We'll make sure you don't get shot. Okay, that kind of listened a little bit. He went over there, did his job, checked, and was heading back. Now here comes the law of unintended consequences, or the rest of the story, if you want to call it that. He boarded a little yacht or launch or whatever you want to call it in 1750, a boat from the ship to bring him back to shore to Philadelphia. Now it was the procedure for the ships that came into any port, in any British port, that for the position that Bob had, they had to acknowledge his position by shooting cannon. I think it was 13 shots. Well, so Bob's heading back, and the ship started to salute him. They shot their cannon. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot. Boom! Bye, Bob! So, there goes the Exchequer of Philadelphia in 1750. His name was Robert Morris. He gets saluted and blown to bits by the salute. Boy, that was dangerous territory to get. They should have waited till, when he was leaving the ship, they should have shot before he left. But no, they shot this when he was left, and after he left, they shot, and no aim to these things. Remember, cannons you couldn't aim. So, hello, I found ya. Boom, there goes Bob. So, Mr. Morris, boy, boom, at the age of 39, Well, poor Bob. He left $7,000, which was a huge sum in those days in 1750, to his son, Bob Jr. Now, Bob Jr. rose to be a very intricate British citizen, except that he didn't like the fact that the British under George III were taxing the hell out of his people here in Philadelphia, especially the Stamp Act of 1765, and by 1770, oh, he had enough of all those things, and you remember, Boston massacre of 1770, well, that really made Bob's thing in Philadelphia. And then the Boston Tea Party of 1773, well, he had enough. So he was one of the original organizers of the First Continental Congress. Yeah. And he's a unique person in your history, because your history refers to him as the financier of the American Revolution. And if it wasn't for him, you would not have a United States. But you don't acknowledge that. He becomes a footnote in history. His father, well, he's relegated to obscurity because he got shot by a salute. Boom! There went his father, Bob. Boing! Bob Jr. is the only person in history to have signed all your major signings that you have in America. The Articles of Incorporation, First Continental Congress, Second Continental Congress, the Declaration of Independence, and the Constitution, all of those signed by Robert Morris Jr. And one of his descendants went to more fame than he did. He started the telegraph, Samuel F.B. Morse. So you see, the Morses, except for Samuel Morse, are not known except for him. But Bob Jr., Robert Morris Jr., who died in 1806, he financed the entire revolution almost by himself. He was like the J.P. Morgan of the 18th century. And unfortunately, he lost everything in 1797 with the first depression the United States ever had. You don't talk to that about your kids in history, do you? 1797, the United States had a horrible depression, and a lot of people lost their booties on that 97 depression, including Robert Morris Jr. Him and his wife had a little small house that they rented with money that the people gave him, till his death in 1806. But he was known as, and he's still known as, a footnote in history as the financier of the American Revolution. And now you know the rest of the story of Bob Sr. and Bob Jr., Robert Morris Sr., Robert Morris Jr. Sitting in for Paul Harvey, this is your favorite alien. Good day.